In 2023, billionaire Elon Musk famously said that NFTs are just URLs to JPEG images. Technically, he's not wrong. But if NFTs are simply JPEGs, why are people willing to spend tens of thousands, even millions of dollars to own one? Yeah, it's not that simple. NFTs, and by extension any brand in the Web3 space, aren't just about the visuals or the underlying tech. They're about identity, community, and storytelling. When someone buys an NFT, they're buying into the meaning, the culture, and the narrative behind it. The same holds true for every brand trying to make a mark in today's fast-moving, highly competitive market. A strong brand identity is not just a logo or a catchy slogan. It's the story that resonates, the connections you build, and the feeling people have when they engage with your project. In the world of Web3, where users are flooded with choices, crafting a compelling brand identity is the key to standing out. Whether you're launching a new crypto project or scaling up an existing startup, your brand identity will shape how your audience perceives and engages with you. In this article, we'll explore the key elements of building a powerful brand identity, from understanding its core components to how it can be used to differentiate your startup in an ever-changing market. We'll break down the process into actionable steps, giving you the insight you need to craft a brand that resonates with your audience and grows with your business. What is brand identity? At its core, brand identity is the collection of beliefs, emotions, and perceptions that people associate with your company. It's how your customers, partners, investors, and even competitors view your brand, and it goes far beyond your product or service. Your brand identity encompasses everything from the visual elements, like your logo and color scheme, to the tone of voice you use in communications, to the story that defines why your company exists. Think of brand identity as the personality of your business. It's how you present yourself to the world and how the world remembers you. The elements that make up your brand identity can be divided into two broad categories: tangible and intangible. Tangible elements include things like your company name, logo, colors, typography, and design style. These visual elements create the first impression and should be consistent across all platforms, whether it's your website, social media, or marketing materials. The intangible side of your brand identity is equally, if not more, important. This includes your brand's story, values, mission, and the way you interact with your customers. It's about the emotional connection you foster with your audience. A strong brand identity evokes specific feelings and associations, whether it's trust, excitement, or innovation. When your tangible and intangible elements work together harmoniously, you create a cohesive brand identity that not only differentiates you from the competition, but also builds a loyal customer base. The key to getting this right is understanding how your brand is perceived and actively shaping that perception. The stronger and more consistent your brand identity is, the more likely people are to remember you and choose your business over others in a crowded market. In the crypto and Web3 space, where the sheer number of projects can be overwhelming, brand identity is even more critical. Take a quick scroll through Twitter, and you'll notice how many fascinating stories are being told by various projects. Think of how when someone mentions DeFi, they immediately associate it with projects on Ethereum, or when they talk about GameFi, Axie Infinity on Ronin, or Hamster Combat on Ton often come to mind. This clear connection between projects and their spaces is largely thanks to their strong, distinct brand identities that have become deeply embedded in the community's consciousness. A well-crafted brand identity in Web3 not only sets your project apart, but also makes it memorable in an ecosystem crowded with new ideas and innovations. This brings us to the next critical aspect: how storytelling plays a central role in shaping and reinforcing your brand identity. Let's explore that in the next section. Story-driven brand, the power of narrative. In the ever-expanding world of crypto and Web3, where users are inundated with countless projects and protocols, a compelling story can be the deciding factor in why they choose to support your project over another. In this space, people don't just invest in tokens or NFTs, they buy into the meaning and the vision behind the project. This is what we call a story-driven brand. one that resonates on a deeper emotional level because of the narrative it tells about decentralization, innovation, or community empowerment. Your brand story is the foundation of its identity. It's not just about what your company does, but why it does it. It's the journey your startup is on, the problem you're solving, and the values that guide you along the way. When you're able to articulate this story clearly, you don't just create a brand. You create a connection with your audience. A strong brand narrative gives your customers something to believe in. It humanizes your company and allows people to see themselves as part of your story. Whether you're a tech startup revolutionizing an industry or a small business with a community-driven mission, your story is what turns casual customers into loyal advocates. And in a world that's increasingly driven by relationships and experiences, this loyalty is invaluable. For startups, the concept of a minimum viable brand, MVB, is key. This idea suggests that you don't need a fully fleshed out brand from day one, but you do need to communicate your why early on. Why does your company exist? What problem are you solving and how are you doing it differently? Your MVB should tell a story that clearly positions your brand in the market while being flexible enough to evolve as your company grows. A great example of a story-driven brand is Bored Ape Yacht Club, BAYC. While it's technically an NFT collection, what sets it apart is its powerful brand identity, which has attracted high-profile owners like Justin Bieber, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, and Jimmy Fallon, among many other celebrities. BAYC succeeded in building its brand around the narrative that its NFTs are luxury items. Owning a Bored Ape is more than just having a digital asset. It's a status symbol, a representation of exclusivity. The story they crafted is that only the elite can possess a BAYC, and it has become a badge of prestige for its holders. In your own startup journey, crafting a strong narrative will help build that same emotional connection. A powerful story differentiates you from competitors and makes your audience believe in what you stand for, not just what you sell. Next, we'll dive into how brand positioning works hand in hand with your story to carve out a unique space for your company in the market. Brand positioning, finding your unique space. While your brand story forms the emotional core of your identity, brand positioning is how you strategically place your project in the fast-paced, competitive landscape of crypto and Web3. It's about carving out a unique space that differentiates you from other projects and highlights the specific value your token, protocol, or platform brings to the community. Brand positioning answers the critical question: why should users, investors, or community members choose your project over the countless others available? In the Web3 space, finding the right positioning early on can be a major competitive advantage. It's not just about being different for the sake of standing out. It's about being relevant to the needs and values of the decentralized community you are targeting. Successful brand positioning in crypto requires a deep understanding of both the evolving market and the ethos of your audience. The more clearly you can communicate the unique solution or value your project provides, the easier it will be for people to see the long-term potential in what you're building. To position your project effectively in the Web3 ecosystem, consider these steps. Identify your target audience. Who are you trying to reach? Are they experienced users or newcomers to the space? Are they multi-chain explorers or focused on a single ecosystem? What drives them to engage? Financial rewards, community involvement, or innovation? Understanding their pain points, goals, and motivations within the crypto space is crucial. The better you know your audience, the more precisely you can tailor your positioning to meet their needs and speak directly to what matters most to them. Analyze your competitors. In the fast-evolving world of crypto, keeping an eye on how other projects are positioning themselves is key to standing out. Take a deep dive into how they communicate their value, what features they highlight, and how they engage their audience. Spot where your project can provide something unique, whether it's a better user experience, more transparent governance, or a stronger community focus. Highlight your unique value proposition. What sets your project apart in the ever-growing Web3 landscape? It could be technological innovations, a novel tokenomics model, or the way your project invites community contributions and governance. Your unique value proposition needs to be crystal clear and aligned with the core values of your target audience, whether they prioritize decentralization, privacy, or innovation. Communicate your positioning through storytelling. Once you've defined your positioning, link it back to your narrative. How does your story reinforce the unique space your project occupies in the market? For instance, if your project is focused on solving cross-chain compatibility issues, your narrative should emphasize your commitment to building open, decentralized solutions that empower users to seamlessly navigate between ecosystems. Your story should not only explain what you do, but also why it matters to the broader Web3 vision. For early-stage crypto startups, it's helpful to think of positioning in terms of your minimum viable brand, MVB. You don't need to have your brand fully perfected from day one, but you do need to clearly explain why your project exists and how it's different from others in the space. Your positioning may evolve as you learn more about your community and the market, but having a strong initial focus ensures you stay aligned with your goals while leaving room to adapt. Next, we'll explore the visual side of brand identity and how consistency in design and presentation can reinforce your brand positioning. Visual identity and consistency. In the crypto and Web3 space, where projects emerge daily and competition is fierce, your visual identity is often the first thing that captures attention. It's how your audience recognizes and remembers you, and it plays a key role in communicating your project's narrative and positioning. From your logo to your color scheme, every design choice should reinforce the story you're telling about decentralization, innovation, or community-driven growth. Creating a compelling visual identity in crypto goes beyond slapping together a cool logo or a trendy color palette. Each visual element needs to reflect your brand's ethos and reinforce your place in the Web3 ecosystem. When these visuals are cohesive and aligned with your story, they build a sense of professionalism and trust within the community. Two elements crucial for gaining traction in the decentralized world. Here are the key components of a strong visual identity in the crypto landscape. Logo. Your logo is more than just a symbol. It's the face of your project in a space that values decentralization and empowerment. It should be simple, memorable, and reflective of your project's core values. Whether you're building a DeFi protocol, an NFT collection, or a DAO, a well-designed logo can become the mark that represents your mission to the community. Color palette. Colors in crypto convey more than just aesthetics. They evoke emotions and signal values. Blue might represent trust and security, crucial for DeFi projects, while green could align with environmental and sustainable initiatives in Web3. Your color should resonate with the emotions and values your project stands for, creating an instant visual connection with your audience. Typography. The fonts you choose send subtle signals about your project's identity. Sleek modern typography might communicate innovation and future-forward thinking, perfect for a cutting-edge protocol, while more traditional fonts could convey reliability and stability, important for security-focused projects. Whatever you choose, make sure it aligns with the message you want to convey and stays consistent across all platforms. Design elements. Whether it's the layout of your website, the UI/UX of your DApp, or the style of your social media graphics, each element needs to work together cohesively. These design elements should reinforce the core identity of your brand, helping users intuitively understand what your project is about the moment they engage with it. Imagery. In the crypto space, the visuals you use, whether it's graphics, icons, or NFT artwork, need to tell the right story. Whether it's futuristic, community-driven, or playful, your imagery should feel authentic to your brand's narrative and vision, resonating with your target audience and creating a lasting impression. If you're confident in your creativity and storytelling skills, you can create something banger without any rules. Yes, it does work in the Web3 space. Simply look at the project called Retardio on Solana. But again, rules exist to help you make safer choices, so consider them carefully. That said, consistency remains key when it comes to visual identity in crypto. With so many new projects vying for attention, a cohesive and consistent visual presence can help you cut through the noise. When your visual elements are aligned, it builds familiarity. And in Web3, familiarity can quickly translate into trust. Over time, this trust turns casual observers into loyal community members, which is essential for the long-term success of your project. For crypto startups, establishing a strong and consistent visual identity early on can give you an edge in an ever-crowded market. It not only helps you stand out, but also ensures that your project is seen as professional and reliable, which is vital when gaining the trust of users and investors. Many projects collaborate with design partners or leverage decentralized networks of creatives to build a visual identity that not only looks great but also speaks to the Web3 community. However, your visual identity doesn't have to be set in stone. Just as the crypto landscape evolves, so should your brand's visual elements. The challenge is to adapt without losing the consistency that makes your brand recognizable. As your project grows and attracts a broader audience, you might find the need to refresh your visual identity to better reflect new values or trends, all while staying true to your core mission. Just this year, many projects have undergone rebranding. For instance, Layer 1 Project Phantom rebranded to Sonic, and MakerDAO rebranded to Sky. Next, let's dive into how flexibility plays a crucial role in ensuring your brand, both its narrative and its visuals, can evolve and thrive in the fast-changing crypto market. In the final section, we'll tie everything together with practical advice for early-stage startups on how to focus on immediate branding goals while keeping an eye on long-term growth. Practical advice for early-stage startups. For early-stage startups, building a powerful brand identity can feel overwhelming, especially when resources are limited and growth is the main focus. The good news is, you don't need to create a fully developed brand overnight. Instead, focus on crafting a minimum viable brand, MVB, a brand identity that clearly communicates your mission, resonates with your target audience, and sets the stage for future growth. Here's some practical advice to help you get started. Start with your why in the decentralized world of Web3. Your why is everything. Why does your project exist, and what problem are you solving? This forms the core of your MVB and should drive all your messaging. Focus on creating a narrative that speaks directly to your community's needs and aspirations, whether it's decentralization, privacy, or empowerment. Your story doesn't need to be perfect from day one, but it should be authentic and clear. Prioritize consistency in key areas. While flexibility is important in crypto, consistency in key areas, like your messaging, tone, and visual identity, is crucial to building trust in the space. Make sure your logo, color palette, and fonts are applied consistently across all platforms, from your website to Discord. This helps build recognition and ensures that your audience has a cohesive experience when interacting with your brand. Don't aim for perfection right away. A common mistake for crypto startups is trying to create a perfectly polished brand right from the start. In reality, your brand will evolve as you learn more about your community and the market. Instead of aiming for perfection, focus on getting your core message out there and refine it as you grow. As long as your values are communicated clearly, you'll have room to adapt. Focus on short-term goals. In the early days, it's tempting to think long-term and try to build a brand that will last through the next bull market. But early-stage crypto projects should focus on immediate short-term goals, like attracting early adopters, gaining liquidity, or securing partnerships. Your MVB should be built to achieve these goals while leaving room for future adjustments. For example, your initial visual identity might be simple and minimal, but scalable as you add more utility and features. Invest in your visual identity. In crypto, where first impressions are everything, your visual identity is what initially grabs attention. A well-designed logo, a sleek DApp interface, and clean design elements can go a long way in making your project look professional and trustworthy. Even if you're working with limited resources, leveraging a freelance designer or using creative tools can help you craft a look that aligns with your project's mission without breaking the bank. Engage with your audience. Early, one of the most effective ways to shape your brand identity is to engage with your community from the very start. Whether it's through Twitter, Discord, or direct feedback on governance proposals, understanding how your community perceives your project provides invaluable insight for refining your identity. This feedback loop ensures your brand evolves in a way that resonates with your token holders and early supporters. Be prepared to evolve. As your project grows, so will your brand. Don't be afraid to make changes to your visual identity, messaging, or positioning as needed. The most successful crypto projects are those that stay true to their decentralized values, but remain flexible enough to evolve with the market and community demands. Whether it's updating your narrative or refreshing your visuals for a rebrand, always be in tune with the direction your project is heading. In the early stages, building a brand is less about perfection and more about laying a solid foundation that you can build on. By focusing on core elements like storytelling, consistency, and visual identity, and keeping your goals realistic, you'll be well on your way to crafting a brand that resonates with the crypto community and stands the test of time. Conclusion. As we've seen, building a strong brand identity in the crypto space is a strategic, ever-evolving process that goes far beyond designing a logo or picking a color palette. It's about weaving a compelling narrative, positioning your project uniquely in the decentralized market, and creating a visual identity that truly resonates with your community. Just as important, it's about balancing consistency with the flexibility needed to adapt as your project scales and the crypto landscape shifts. For early-stage projects, the key is to start with a minimum viable brand, MVB, that communicates your core mission and values to the Web3 community. From there, focus on consistency across your messaging and visuals, while keeping the door open for growth and refinement as your project matures. Stay true to your story, engage deeply with your community, and remain open to adapting to market changes. This approach will not only help your brand stand out in an increasingly crowded space, but also create lasting connections with your supporters and token holders. Now's the time to reflect. What story is your brand telling? How are you positioning yourself to rise above the noise in the crypto space? And most importantly, how will your brand evolve as your project grows? With these insights in hand, you're ready to start building a brand identity that truly resonates with the decentralized world.